What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to an episode of WNN, your source for the music and music production news. We have a lot of interesting topics to talk about today. We'll be talking about KENDRICK versus Drake, a piano full of £4 million worth, apparently. Not my piano, by the way. I think it was going to ARTURIA headquarters. UMG returning to TikTok. There's too many things to talk about. You'll see it when you watch the video. UMG is apparently returning to TikTok. You may remember earlier this year, they pulled their entire catalog from TikTok because they felt like they weren't getting paid enough. It wasn't worth it. There was also several other reasons too, which were frankly bullshit. It's all about the money for them. They actually wrote an open letter called "Why We Must Call Time Out" on TikTok. The three reasons they cited were lack of compensation for artists, TikTok's flagrant use and support of AI, and I'll quote them here for the third reason, let alone the tidal wave of hate speech, bigotry, bullying, and harassment on the platform, obviously implying the lack of safety for children, since kids are the biggest demographic of TikTok. Don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying TikTok is completely safe, but to pretend as if UMG cares about child safety is downright hilarious. Kind of reads like a YouTube clickbait title. And if I had to guess, they changed nothing here except for the amount of money they're getting paid. And it looks like I was correct. We look forward to collaborating with the team at TikTok to further the interests of our artists and songwriters and drive innovation and fan engagement while advancing social music monetization. It was about the money. It was about the money. They don't give a shit about kids unless they're making the money. Both organizations are saying that they're working together to realize new monetization opportunities, utilizing TikTok's growing e-commerce capabilities. Yeah, I feel like it's only going to be mentioning money here. I don't think we're going to hear anything about safety. Okay, so they seem to have made an adjustment to AI stuff. I don't think they're covering the safety thing though. They said that they will work together to make sure the AI tools are developed responsibly to enable musical creativity and fan engagement, but protect human creativity. Yeah, nothing about child safety there, huh? I called it before. When they originally announced this, I was like, okay, they put this third one in here just to make them seem like pieces of shit. They don't really care about that. It's all about the money, and the AI is also about the money too, because AI is going to hurt their bottom line. So it's all about the money, and the third point is just bullshit. All right, we're back with another new plugin. This one from ARTURIA, the augmented YANGTZE. You know ARTURIA going down their checklist of augmented plugins one by one. We've got brass, we've got pianos, running out of options here, so now we've got YANGTZE. If you're like me, you probably don't know what that is. Cleverly named after a river in China, so let's hope these sounds are wet. China's taking over everything, they even got to ARTURIA. For those of you that don't know, the augmented series of plugins usually combines a real instrument with synthesis, giving you layered sounds that you have control over. Out of my fear of butchering these names, I'm gonna just show them on screen. I don't want this to turn into a slaughterhouse. Thank you for the help, producer. I appreciate your help here. Sometimes I'm lacking on inspiration. She's my muse, my phlegm. So it features over 200 presets with instruments that are bowed, plucked, and more. You can have a total of 4 sound sources at once. Features 6 instruments, 38 articulations, 30 process and multi-sample articulations, 4 types of synthesis, 2 sampler engines, and built-in effects. It definitely seems like the most unique out of the augmented plugins. Let's listen to a few examples. Definitely seems like something that could be powerful for composing for a film. Some of the melodies though, it's like very stereotypical what you'd imagine a Chinese melody to sound like. I don't know. Like, babe, they're basically being like ding, 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 ding. All right, so you can get it for $100, or you can do payment plans of 2 monthly payments, 3 monthly payments, or 4 monthly payments. I guess they really know their fan base. Broke ass musicians, yes. And they also have the Augmented Series 6, which is on sale. Instead of $300, it's $200. They've added this to the Augmented Series 6. Same deal with the payment plans if you want to. In their introductory video, they did not say the name of anything, and I think I know why. So I was just trying to see something here. Go on this adventure with me.
Its unique morphing of sampling and synthesis guarantees
completely unique morphing of sampling and synthesis. They're going to act like they haven't done this before with a million other instruments. I really just want her to read me the instrument names right now. That's really what I'm here for. I wonder if they're just gonna skip over that completely. Dude, they're cleverly avoiding saying the instrument names here. I'm like 4 minutes in and she's just doing a bunch of demos showing how it works and everything, but they have not said what the instrument names are yet.
The main sample engines are filled with authentic and unique, high-quality recordings of various YANGTZE instruments. These sounds come from instruments such as BASSNICE, ARHU, GUCHIN,
Holy shit, she's killing it.
Pipa, Xiao, or Yangqi.
Holy shit, never mind. I thought she was gonna butcher the shit out of this. Yeah, wow. That caught me off guard. I was really expecting it to be bad. In our next story, a man was jailed for attempting to smuggle 4 million pounds of through a piano. Guys, I know you're saying, hey, is this your piano, Weaver? No, if it were my piano, it would be filled with 89 blocks of heroin. So apparently a man was returning to France where he claimed to be operating a removal services industry. In the van were chairs, a bed, a cupboard, boxes, and an upright piano. Where immediately investigators were like, this is a heavy piano. Let's see what's inside of it. Inside the piano were 89 wrapped blocks of... He is now in prison for 13 years. The piano was going to ARTURIA headquarters, all right? Like I said, not my piano. ARTURIA's piano. In our next story, Behringer has actually released their free synthesizer named Vintage. It was leaked before, but it's out now. And if you're gonna say it's bad or they're bad, well, don't worry. They're giving it for free and they said, hey, if you want to give us money, we're donating it to charities. If you have any criticism for us, you're a bad guy because we're donating to charity with this. Maybe I'm just cynical. Maybe I'm just an asshole. Download this USD 99 valued plugin for free and help the Playing for Change Foundation who support music education. If it was another company doing this, I wouldn't have anything to say about it, about the proceeds going to charity. But Behringer's done a lot of shitty stuff in the past. It's kind of hard to give them the benefit of the doubt that this isn't just like a deflection of criticism because they've faced a lot of criticism in the past, especially since basically everything they do is copied from someone else and meant to undercut them. So they basically go around fucking up shit for other companies. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, any money that we make on this, we're giving to charity. See, we're not so bad. It is a vintage synthesizer that is meant to sound like a 70s or 80s synth. Comes with 100 presets. Oh man, these pictures look so staged. These just do not look like the typical people that'd be using Behringer. This person is way too hipster to be using Behringer gear. This guy too. All of these people are too hipster to be using Behringer gear. They look like they're more Ableton users. The funny thing about them saying it's worth $99 and that they're giving it for free and anything they make they're going to donate to charity is they couldn't actually charge $99 for this. I mean, we'll listen to it in a second here, but they could not charge $99 for this.
So over here at Behringer, we love our analog synthesis. And there's still plenty more to come in that regard.
This feels so staged. Like, I'm not buying this as a Behringer user. Like, once again, it's not really, this guy, does it seem like a person that uses Behringer hardware? Not to me personally.
So we didn't want to leave all you great door musicians out in the cold. Let's see if we can give a bit of warmth to digital. It's the Behringer Vintage.
He really sounded unenthusiastic about that. I mean, just so far, it sounds really cheesy. Analog modeled circuitry. I can't really tell. It sounds like any other synth to me.
And it's based on meticulous modeling of some very old and dusty vintage synthesizers.
Like what? Not gonna say, alright?
Hard sync, pulse width modulation, and comes with 3 selectable waveforms as well as a sub oscillator.
I wish they were playing something less cheesy sounding. I really can't, because I can't separate the fact of how cheesy this composition is from the fact it's supposed to sound vintage. Like, I kind of wonder if they just had someone talk to them in a boardroom and they're like, hey, our public perception is really bad. How can we make it not so bad? You know, after years of copying other synth companies' products and undercutting their prices, after that time we made the cork sniffer to mock one of our critics. After that time we threatened to sue our critics. After that other time we lied about the reason Loopop won't review our gear anymore and censored any comments trying to correct the record. Okay, we should donate any sort of proceeds to young black youths, essentially, because that's going to make us look good. We can't be the bad guys. I would give them a bigger benefit of the doubt about the charity thing if they ever apologize for any of the weird shit they've done in the past. When you fail to address any of that and then release a mediocre synth with the proceeds going to charity, it comes off as a cheap shield meant to deflect criticism, at least to me.
But if you do like the plugin and you can pay something, we'd love you to make a donation to a great non-profit. It's called Playing for Change. They do great work by giving opportunities for underprivileged youth around the world to experience the joys of learning to play music.
I mean, saying that aside, it is good they are donating to charity. I'm not seeing it as a shield.
And every donation made will be matched by us up to 1 million USD. So happy jamming, everyone. Catch you in the next one.
I mean, apparently they're matching donations too, so that, hey, that's good. That's good. Still see it as a shield though. Our next story seems to have been a bit controversial with other musicians. I personally kind of get where they're coming from. The Guitar Center CEO has been quoted as saying, "If you walk through a Guitar Center, you see an awful lot of $300 guitars. If I'm a serious musician, it doesn't feel like the right place for me anymore." Basically, he's trying to say that they should have more premium guitars. If you're a serious musician, you walk in there and it's mostly just cheap guitars. Now, as long as they aren't getting rid of cheap guitars, I don't see how this is a problem. It makes sense that they would want to have an area with more expensive guitars and have an area for people to try out new pedals, etc. Things that will actually sell serious musicians into buying things. Granted, what I think a lot of people do, myself included, if I were to go to a place like this, I haven't in a long time, I would try out something and then go and buy it online. I'm not buying it there. They're marking it up too much. So I'm not sure how much that's going to help their business. Maybe a bit, because some people will just buy it right on the spot. For me though, I would just try it there and then buy it online or wherever I can get a cheaper deal. But personally, I just don't see it being that controversial as long as they are still selling cheap guitars. If they want to sell more premium guitars and have an area for people to try out all the stuff, I don't see how it's an issue. But essentially they're saying they have premium products, but they don't have enough and it's very hard to experience them, which is true. I do remember going to guitar stores when I was little and all the dope guitars would either be really high up or they'd be in the back or just somewhere inaccessible. Okay, this one's pretty interesting. It kind of follows in the steps of Grimes. No, I'm not talking about the Grimes Coachella performance. I wish we had more content following in the footsteps of that. So you may remember a while back, Grimes, she was really heavy into AI. I'm sure she still is heavy into AI, but essentially she allowed her fans to make songs with her voice and you could license them through her, something to that effect. So the artist known as FKA TWIGS is making an AI version of herself to outsource fan interactions. Yeah, the thing you absolutely should not do as an artist or a public figure. When people want to talk to their favorite artist, they want to talk to them. They don't want to talk to a robot emulating them. For instance, on YouTube, they have different extensions, browser extensions you can pay for, and they have like a bunch of AI features, one of which is to AI generate comment responses to people. And for me, I see that being the exact same thing. It is so impersonal. It is so lazy. You might as well just say nothing to your fans if that's what you want to do. The sad thing is that the fans that don't know this is going on, they're going to think it's amazing that they can get a response from their favorite artist every single time. And this has her willing to testify before a Senate committee on the subject of AI regulation. Again, I am all for AI for when it handles the tedious tasks. I am not for AI when it handles the creative tasks. It really paints the picture of a dystopian future where we are all doing the tedious jobs and robots are all doing the creative jobs. It would make life absolute hell. Set aside, it doesn't even have to be a creative job, just creative things. Why? I feel like the only reason people do this sort of thing is because they don't want to do it themselves, or because they don't have the imagination, or because they don't know how to do it in the first place. And it makes them feel creative. Sadly, that's not what creativity is, though. This is what she said here. "In the past year, I've developed my own deepfake version of myself that is not only trained in my personality, but also can use my exact tone of voice to speak many languages." Great. I can't wait till she's replaced. Maybe she can get it to do her music also. In other news, Kendrick released his response to Drake's diss track. Oh boy. And he seems to have delivered. So for those of you not aware, Kendrick Lamar did a verse on a Future and Metro Boomin song named Like That, where he took some shots at Drake and J. Cole, and J. Cole released his own response where he basically deleted it. He even said himself that it was the goofiest shit he had ever done. Meanwhile, Drake made a response named Push-Ups, and it was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. And he also followed it up with a much weirder track, a track that featured an AI Snoop Dogg and AI Tupac. Coincidentally, Tupac's estate threatened to sue him, and he ended up removing it completely everywhere. But anyways, Kendrick responded with his own song named Euphoria, which is very interesting because it starts off very slow and melodic, very soft delivery, and then it goes into a much harder song. It has 3 beat switches. And I mean, a lot of people have been talking lately saying that the beats on all of these tracks have been awful. I don't even know where to begin with breaking down the Kendrick response. He takes shots at Drake not taking care of his kid. He basically accuses him of wearing black culture but not really being with it. He also revealed that Drake tried to get him to do a feature on a song and Kendrick declined. Assumingly it was the first person shooter song. That's what everybody seems to think. Another really interesting line here. He says, have you ever walked your enemy down with a poker face? Have you ever paid $500,000 like to an open case? And apparently Drake had paid $500,000 to settle a sexual harassment lawsuit. She accused him of sexual assault in 2017. So assumingly that is what the reference there is. One of my favorite lines is he says, I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. For those of you that don't know, YNW Melly was accused of killing a few of his friends. He brings up the Pusha T beef and how he ignored that. When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see 2 bad bitches. But yeah, like I said, I could go all day about this. I'm going to spare you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this already. I probably missed out on some of the best parts of it. It's definitely been an eventful week, or an eventful month or two in hip hop. Definitely more interesting than it's been in a while. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. And if you press the like button on this video, I will send you a piano, a very heavy piano. If you get caught with it, you don't know me, all right? You don't know me. Don't mention this video. What should I do a video about next? Let me know down in the comments. If you like what I do here, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member. For as low as $5 a month, you get access to exclusive content, as well as outtakes, goodies, sound kits, and more. I'll see you guys next time.
Bang Incorporated.